The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 297. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a college student, and she also has her own food blog on Instagram. You can find her at HungryGirl325, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Hana Brannigan. Hana, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. As you said, I'm Hannah. I'm a college student. I go to UC Davis right now. I'm studying communications, and what I really like to do is work with the health magazine or business that I can write for to change the world. That's kind of why I started my Instagram as well, to make some impact, hopefully, on some people. I've gone through some things in my life that I think that other people would benefit from, learning from my struggles. And yeah, I'm just really passionate about writing and helping others. And fun fact, I used to be a synchronized swimmer too. I always throw that in. But yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I've checked out your Instagram account, and honestly, all the food that you post makes me hungry.
Oh my gosh, good. That's my job.
They look amazing. And what's your cultural background?
So I get this all the time, and people can tell that I'm Asian, but they usually guess Japanese. But my mom's side of the family is actually from Vietnam, and my dad's side of the family is from Ireland, born and raised there, but I was born in California.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Hannah, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
So I honestly don't really have a favorite one because there are so many great quotes out there. And whenever I find one, I fall in love with it usually. But one that I always repeated to myself while I was going through anorexia recovery is that you are more than a number. And it's a little cliche, I think, just because everyone really likes the quote. But I think it says so much in such a simple sentence, because numbers really are just figures that were created to represent like any amount in order. But people aren't fixed and structured like that. We all have personality and dynamic, and we have so many layers that just like a number on a scale can't explain.
I think that's a great quote, and especially, as women, we're so obsessed with like our weight and our figure and our appearance that we look at the scale, and if we see a number that we don't agree with, it's like the end of the world for us, not realizing it's just a number.
Exactly.
It can be temporary, and we can always, fix it. There's always a solution to everything. So,
Exactly.
I really love that quote that you mentioned. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I would say there's so many layers to self-confidence, but really what it comes down to is feeling comfortable in your own skin, accepting yourself for who you are, and the body that you were born with, I think is really important to self-confidence. And it's a lot easier said than done, but I think nothing screams confident more than like admitting the self-love that you have for yourself. And I used to think that meant that I was selfish, but it's actually just accepting who you are and embracing who you are. And doesn't sound selfish to me. It sounds like you're cherishing your body and your life, or what you have, basically.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And love, we have to learn how to love ourselves first and accept ourselves who we are before we can even, give love to others. And
Definitely.
It's like the first step to self-confidence, because if we can't be okay with ourselves, including our strengths or flaws and our weaknesses, then how can other people accept us? So I really like what you mentioned, especially when it comes to body image and all that, because it's really important. I mean, there's so many people out there who struggle with it, and, if they can hear stories like this, I mean, they can realize like anything's possible. So thanks for that definition. And what was your life like before you discovered self-confidence?
So I think that everyone goes through this period in their life, but I feel like my life was just a mess before I realized I needed to accept myself for who I am. But I was pretty insecure, even though I didn't show it. And I needed to be perfect in everything that I did. both in the academic world and body-wise. Just needing to be perfect was such a huge role in my life, and I think that's what led me to get an eating disorder as well. But I just really high standards for myself, and yeah, that's my life before self-confidence. It was kind of a mess, but you learn and you grow from it.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's crazy how, especially growing up as an Asian woman, we go through so many experiences and that need to be perfect, right? Because we've been taught it's
Yes.
like, if you're not perfect, something's wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you because there's no such thing as perfection. I mean, there's progression.
Exactly.
And we're always going to make mistakes and fumble along the way, but if we can realize that, it's okay to make a mistake, it's okay if we're not perfect, because, I mean, a lot of people out there are looking for that authenticity. I think it's something that's missing.
Yes.
And when we can learn to be vulnerable and, share our story like what you're doing right now, I mean, it's really inspiring. And, what was that point in your life when you realized you didn't have to be perfect, you can just be yourself? What was that aha moment?
So it was actually just a few years ago. It just goes to show how long it actually can take you to discover self-confidence. But when I was seeing a therapist a few years ago, she basically told me to put myself in my friend's shoes and view myself as I would from a friend's point of view. And that kind of showed me that I shouldn't be too judgmental and hard on myself, because the way I view my friends is not the way I view myself. So why should I apply the same views to my own body and my own accomplishments? And that's another thing also too. We focused on my accomplishments rather than dwelling on the negative experiences in my life. So basically positive affirmations and viewing myself from an unbiased point of view really helped.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And it's crazy when we put ourselves in someone else's shoes and, we see it from a different point of view. It's like, we're so great at self-sabotaging and punishing ourselves for not doing something, whether it's like we didn't work out today and it's like, you're so bad, how could you not work out? And, sometimes things happen and you just say, it's okay, just we do it the next day and it's not a big deal. And the more positive, like you mentioned, positive affirmations are a huge thing, because like our brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. So we can start focusing on, positive affirmations, telling ourselves what's right about us. That's when we can start attracting more things into our life. And, because of your realizations, what's your life been like now?
Oh, wow. Well, I definitely still struggle with perfectionism, but it's so much better than it used to be. Like you said, things happen. I'm a lot more lenient on myself, and I know that I try my best in everything that I do. I can only do so much as a human being. We all make mistakes, and as long as I put in the effort, I can be proud of myself. Success or fail, if you call it a fail, for lack of better words. Also, I've learned to just give myself a break, and I know it's a lot easier said than done, but practicing self-forgiveness and soothing yourself is so important. And I think that learning how to do that, and it does take a lot of time and practice, but learning how to do all that won't leave you feeling so burnt out.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love what you mentioned, self-forgiveness. That's something, it's great practice. It's like we're always so good at like punishing ourselves and telling ourselves how bad we've been, and we can switch that in an instant in our head. We can just say, what, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. We can keep moving. It just happened, and just keep going. So, I really love that you mentioned that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in a similar journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say, I know it sounds really hard, but just learn to love yourself and your body. You were born with this incredible machine, and you really need to take care of it because it's the only one that you have. What helped me in this journey was just doing simple, non-objective exercises, like saying, "Thank you, legs, for carrying me around throughout the day," instead of like, "Oh, my legs look so fat today." That's not something you want to say to yourself right in the morning. Just setting yourself out with the right foot. And then it might seem silly, but it really does make yourself look at your body in a different way. And I think it also brings up the point that everyone is born different, and that because everyone's different, it brings so much personality and diversity to the world, and you're just adding to that. So whatever traits you have, embrace it and give it to the world.
Thanks for sharing those tips, Hannah. And I love what you mentioned about the exercise that you do, and you said, "Thank you, legs, for carrying me out throughout the day." I mean, that's something we actually take for granted, especially, we're so prone to like think about the things we don't have or what's bad about us, not realizing, we have legs that can help us walk and run and do things. And when there's other people out there who can't walk or who can't use their legs, just to just even walk around, like we take these little things for granted. We have to realize how grateful we are to have, the simple things, because it's these simple daily actions that can go a long way, like for you. So, I really love what you mentioned for that tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, so my Instagram, like you mentioned at the beginning, is at hungrygirl325. I post some self-confidence recovery posts there. And I also have a website. I haven't used it in a while, but there are a lot of blog posts on there that I've dabbled in. And let me see, www.justswimmingly.wordpress.com, I believe. But on my Instagram, I do post some recovery posts I hope people find helpful. Oh, so I got the website. It's not just Swimmingly. I changed it, actually. So the correct one is www.hungrygirl325.wordpress.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Hannah. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Hannah, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Hannah's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just really want to thank Hannah for taking the time to share her story with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again.
Not a problem. It was a pleasure having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.